11 o'clock. I think anybody that rolls in after this can just catch up. I don't think they'll be too late, but just a couple things. If you guys have any questions during the presentation, feel free to just type them in the chat window over there, and I will answer them if I know the answer. Otherwise, I'll just interrupt Steve and have him answer it at the next available spot there. And then, of course, at the end, we'll have question and answer sessions. So if you have any questions, once it's all over, you can also ask them there. And that's basically it. I'm going to just go ahead and pass it over to Steve, let him show you guys his presentation, and then, I'll expect you all to call because you want one. So take it away, Steve.
Hey, thanks for the introduction, Brad. And thank you all for coming today to this webinar on Seagate's NAS for Creatives. I encourage all of you at any point during the presentation today to go ahead and shoot your questions over to me. I love it when we get a good conversation going, so do not be afraid to ask questions. So today I'm going to talk to you about our Seagate NAS and how it can work into your own creative workflows at the companies that you work at. Here's the ad campaign and marketing push behind these products. As you can see, we're trying to talk about how getting your information into one central location is a better way to work, which I'm sure is why you're here and you're interested in NAS today. This is the what we call our hero pick of our new Seagate NAS product lineup. We have here on the left our Seagate NAS products, our Seagate NAS Pro here that I'm showing, and then our Seagate NAS rack items. And I'll touch base on primarily the NAS Pro products, but know that all the products here on this page are all running the same NAS OS/4 operating system that you're going to hear a lot about today. So, creative team, here I'm going to talk to you about workflow solutions, and hopefully they relate well to you. So let's say we have a creative team with up to 50 employees. Their primary need is centralized storage and a backup for client PCs and Macs that are there in the office, and you need to have anytime access to the data for all of those machines. Their secondary need is their performance. It's performance to support large file transfers for creative Pro workflows. So this is where the Seagate NAS Pro 2, 4, or 6-bay product comes in, and it comes into play. The key features of the Seagate NAS Pro is that it has an Intel Atom processor. It has dual Ethernet ports on it, along with USB 3. What that means to you is with those dual Ethernet ports, the thing's fast enough, even though it's a NAS unit, to do compressed HD video editing off of it if you wanted to. Not my #1 use case for this, but it's a good example of how much speed you can get off of a NAS nowadays, whether that's transferring large 4K files for archival purposes to and from it, or large After Effects and or other 3D graphics files. All the drives in these products are also hot swappable and come up to 30 terabytes. They have different hardware RAID possibilities. You have JBOD, RAID 0, 1, 5, 6, and 10, and then also what we call our Simply RAID, which allows you to mix and match drive sizes in a NAS. Traditional NASs, you have to have all the same hard drives sizes in them, but with our NAS units, you can mix and match drive sizes. And then also we have, for security purposes, which is important to the video game industry and other creative industries as well, we have 256-bit AES volume encryption, and that's hardware enabled. So it's not a software encryption, it's hardware encryption, so it's fast. It's handled that CPU-intensive task of decrypting and encrypting data is handled by the NAS itself, which is great because it saves your CPU on your computer. CPU usage to be dedicated towards a creative task you want it to really be focusing on. These NASs also come with a one-touch backup, so you can set a button on the front to back up any of your computers with a single tap of a button if you want. 3 years warranty, and also our NAS OS 4 and the app manager. You'll discover that we have third-party SDK support for these new NASs, allowing for app installation of things like OwnCloud, Elephant Drive, Plex Server, etc., and surveillance servers. What are some of the benefits of our NAS OS 4? Well, it has a very intuitive interface design. As you'll see here when I bring up the live version of the OS in front of you, it's very clean, it's very simple to use. It also has access to share files via a link with our what we call our S drive. S drive is also compatible with our with your Android, your iPhone, your Windows tablets, your Windows computers, your Mac computers. More benefits of our NAS OS 4 is that there's an app for that. Like I said, there's a third-party SDK that's available for the operating system for our new NAS units. And with that, there are different applications you can get. BitTorrent Seek, for example, which would be great for large files. Say you were archiving a movie on one NAS and you wanted it to sync over to another NAS on the other side of the country. You could do that through BitTorrent Sync easily. All the drives in our NAS also are NAS rated as well. That's another benefit of our new Seagate NAS product. So you're getting a high quality, 24/7, low heat, low vibration hard drive. And then we also have our SimplyRAID technology built into our NAS OS 4. At this point, does anybody have any questions? I don't see any questions coming up.
I'll give them a second to type something, but I did actually, real quick, I have a poll just to kind of see where everybody's at as far as their storage. I'm just going to launch it real quick. If you guys can answer that. Basically just want to see if you already have a centralized solution of some sort, or if you're just using, USB Thunderbolt drives, or if you're just all over the place. So, just want to see kind of where everybody's at. Looks like almost everybody's voted here. See the results in a second. All right. It looks like it's pretty even. About almost 50% use centralized solution. 43% use USB Thunderbolt solutions, and 15% are all over the place. So that's good to know.
So let's get into that's good to know. Let's get into the NAS solutions for the creative workflow. So let's say we're a gaming company here. How can Seagate NAS help out a gaming company? So the challenges you might see at a gaming company are sharing digital assets between employees, and obviously when you do that, you want to have specific user and group permissions set. Not everybody needs to have access to all the different assets available on the NAS. Some people work at home. Some people are just on the road, so you need remote access to all of these assets, whether that's for approval or whether that's because you need to work on a specific file at any moment. And with that, you need to make sure that your data is secure. Your creative product is yours, and you need to make sure that nobody else can get their hands on it. So the solution for all those needs, surprise, surprise, it's our Seagate NAS and NAS Pro. Why? Well, the NAS will give you the benefit of easy file sharing on Mac and PC. I'm sure the people out there that are using USB drives right now and not using a NAS love it when they have to go from a Mac to a PC or vice versa, and the drive they have isn't formatted right or whatever. Also, the benefit of having S drive. S drive is what I'll show you here soon, is the ability to remote access any of the files on the NAS, whether it's over your iPhone, your Android phone, or from your computer desktop, anywhere in the world. Volume encryption is another benefit of our NAS OSs. You have the ability to turn on hardware encryption for all the drives. It means your data is secure. And then also, obviously, since it is a RAID box and it's a NAS RAID box, you get your redundancy there. You can set it up in a RAID 5, have a drive fail, and still not lose any data of any of that valuable assets that you're working on. So I am going to bring up here an example, or the example of what our NAS operating system looks like. I'm going to close out this tab here. Open a new tab. So when you get a Seagate NAS product, you set up My NAS with it. It's just, I tell people if you can set up a Facebook account by establishing a username and password, you can set up a NAS, our My NAS account as well. So I bookmarked my NAS account, and I just click the bookmark here. As you can see, boom, that just opened the NAS sitting at my house back at home, about 10 miles from my office right now where I sit, and I have my whole NAS right there, right in front of me. This is great for the administrator. I'm able to come in here, remotely access my NAS, even getting into things like, device manager. I can look at, how many disks are being used, how much space, how's the health of the system, what's my CPU running at, how much is the RAM getting hit. I see here, the shares. I have 3 shares set up. I have 7 different users currently added and 2 different groups. Now, as I had mentioned earlier, you guys need to be able to set up different shares and different permission levels for different users. So as you can see here are my shares. I simply add shares by clicking the Add Share button. Same with users. You can add users. Once I add the user, I'm able to determine whether or not they have access to specific different shares, to specific different groups. I can associate an email address with them so they can later have access to our NAS via S drive over the WAN, over the internet. And also you can set up groups very easily. Add group, add name, for example, description, configuration. It's great stuff. It's a very clean, straightforward, easy to use operating system. If we get into our settings here, my services, you'll see here that there are a number of services that our NAS supports: SMB, NRB, AFP, FTP, SFTP. Probably all wondering what these things stand for potentially, but if you're somebody in the know in the IT field, you'll see it supports all the standard protocols: WebDAV, S drive, Time Machine, UPnP, DLNA, iTunes server, printer server. Our boxes are VMware, VM certified, VM certified. So you can make use of them in VM environment. We come down here to monitoring. You can see, what the current temperature is, what things are currently being used by the processor. You can monitor the different statuses, smart status of the drive here, the temperature of each, capacity, lets you know things are okay. You can see how your RAID manager here, how your RAIDs are set up. Add iSCSI targets. Very clean and straightforward. You also have different notifications that you can enable on these devices to notify you when specific events happen, whether it's a drive failing or a smart status indication changing on it, or a temperature getting too hot. There are a number of different things you can set up for notifications. So let me bring back my presentation here and get back to the home page. So as I mentioned when showing you the operating system, we do have volume encryption on the NAS. So that is hardware encryption. just so you know. That means it's going to be fast. It's not going to slow down your system as much as software encryption does, which is what a lot of you may be used to if you're doing any sort of encryption right now. And S-Drive. As I mentioned, S-Drive is an application that's available for download for your Windows computer, for your Mac computer. And what it does is, and I'll show you my window here. In my taskbar here, located, this is a Windows 7 machine. This little S hangs out down in my lower, or on my taskbar. I simply click on it, boom, opens up and mounts my NAS that I have access to. Here's my NAS, just like any traditional Finder window that you'd be used to. I can drag and drop things from it. Just like that, it's copying a file up to my NAS. It's located back at my home, and I can remove things from it as well. So it makes it very, very simple to gain access to your NAS. S-Drive is a perfect tool for the administrator, but also for any additional users that you want to have access. That way they don't have full administrative access through the My NAS interface. And the NAS OS 4 is Mac compatible, works with AFP, Time Machine, iTunes. There is a Seagate Network Assistant that you can download and works with this, S-Drive, and of course My NAS. So at this moment, are there any questions about the workflow or the solution that we just went over and how Seagate works into that? Or Brad, do you have any other polls you wanted to take?
I don't, unfortunately. But I'm sure that if someone asks the right question, you're going to give them a free NAS Pro, right?
Yeah, that's a good idea there, Brad. Well, it looks like there aren't any questions, so I'll move on to the next solution here for you. So we have a post-production house that has their own local servers. Their challenge is that they want to share dailies and rough cuts with customers quickly and easily. They want to archive and share finished projects easily with customers. They need off-site backup for their archived finished projects in case of fire, theft, or flood. And they also want security surveillance of their server room because so many of their creative things that they've made reside there on their servers, and they need to make sure that people are not stealing important information from them. So the solution here, again, surprise, surprise, Seagate NAS, NAS Pro, or our rack mounts with our Seagate Surveillance Manager software. The benefits of Seagate NAS will give you S-Drive. You can make private links to files and share those out to people easily so then they can stream, watch, or download whatever you've linked to them. Remote access via computer, smartphone, or tablet. Backup software. Our backup software is going to handle all the archiving that needs to go on, whether that's with finished projects or nightly images of computers. Remote backup with our surveillance app, and our Seagate NAS surveillance app can also work with input and output of certain alarm systems. So certain alarm systems can integrate with our My NAS, and say an alarm goes off, it can then email your phone and let you know that an alarm has gone off in the building. So let me bring up this again. So I'm going to show you here now S-Drive on an iPhone. So here you'll see in this first screen the app loading. You see My NAS that is available for me to access. I simply touch it. I can tell it to add photos or different folders from different apps and upload them to it. I can instantly stream the movies that are available in there, or upload my own photos or movies from my phone to the NAS. This is a great example of you're on the road, your customer says, hey, let me see what the rough cut is of that commercial that we're working on looks like right now. They could access the rough cut here, send the link to them, and click it and view the video. Here's the Android version of what this app looks like as well. Android does offer some additional benefits over the iPhone version. You're able to access potentially more files on your phone or tablet to share or upload to the NAS due to just Android and how that system works. We also have a NAS to NAS backup example that I want to talk to you about here. That would be fantastic for that post-production house, because since they need off-site backup due to the potential risk of fire, theft, or flood, our NAS system has a great NAS to NAS backup system built into it. The example here is we have our first NAS located in Oregon, which is where I happen to be. And we have another NAS located in, we'll pretend, at the boss's house in Europe. So through our NAS OS Force NAS traversal system, and when you set up My NAS, that gives you access to your NAS. If you set up that second NAS that's in UK underneath the same username and password, these two NASs now automatically can see each other due to My NAS and how our system works. So NAS 1 will be able to sync with NAS 2 on a schedule that you determine. So for example, have all the video game assets or the archived and finished TV projects back up to the boss in the UK's NAS during the middle of the night, so the bandwidth doesn't hurt anybody who's working in the office. NAS 2 syncs with NAS 1 in return, giving a reliable off-site backup that way. This is all based on what is called the rsync protocol. This is an open standard protocol, so there's nothing proprietary to it. It is completely encrypted. All the traffic, when it comes and goes over the internet to the other NAS, is encrypted. So if you have hardware encryption turned on your hard drives, then that would mean that everything would be encrypted from on each side. So there's full encryption possibilities with Seagate NAS. As I mentioned in the solution we're trying to figure out for the post-production house, they needed surveillance cameras to monitor their server racks to make sure nobody is illegally taking valuable information off of their servers. So one of the apps that you can download for Seagate NAS is the Seagate Surveillance Manager. This software was developed by a company called Nuo. For people that are in the know, Nuo is a fantastic software development team that is the leader in surveillance software development. Our NASs can work with up to 16 different cameras at once. That is heavily dependent on the amount of bandwidth that is available in the local network, and also the quality settings of the cameras. But our NAS Surveillance Manager app fully supports pan, tilt, and zoom on cameras if the cameras support it, movement detection, customizable schedule and events, remote administration and monitoring through the My NAS app, and support for thousands of cameras. When it says there are 347 pages worth of cameras, that is, think of single-spaced list of names for 347 pages. It's something about 5,000 or 6,000 different cameras. It's very easy to set something like that up too with our NAS system here. This is a basic line graph showing you how you can set up a NAS system. So it would take the Seagate NAS. You're going to connect it to your network switch along with your cameras. These cameras could be Wi-Fi based or Ethernet based. And then that network switch is going to connect to your wireless router. At this moment now, this is all tied back to your router. And it can see these cameras, record them, and then make it available to you over the internet on your smartphone or your laptop. very simple system to set up and maintain. So I'd like to close this presentation on Seagate NAS and talk to you about the support that we have available for you if you choose to move forward with purchasing a Seagate NAS product and working with it. Unlike much of our competition, we have 24/7 US-based technical support for you for these products. We take our Seagate NAS customers very seriously, and we will, with this 24/7 line, be able to hold your hand through any setup as long as what you're wanting to do is supported by the product. You will not find US-based 24/7 phone support from any of our competition. And another thing that you won't find is free advanced replacement on all NAS drives. Now, as I mentioned, our products come with NAS-rated 24/7 low heat, low vibration hard drives in them. So you're getting a top quality hard drive, but in the event that there is some sort of drive failure, you get free advanced replacement. Other places will make you pay for that. That's something we give for free, and what that means is if a product or if the product or the hard drive fails, you call up our 24/7 support team. We apologize for the hard drive failure, and we ship out the replacement hard drive to you via 2-day air. At your leisure, you then put the defunct product or hard drive in the mail and send it back to us. Everybody else will make you mail it in first, and then they'll ship it out to you ground, and all of a sudden weeks have gone by without having your NAS up and running for you. We do have some great use cases and some people supporting us in the creative fields. Here, this is Boom Studios. These guys are cool comic book creators. They've been using our NAS to archive their data, and they absolutely love it. We have another one coming out here real soon. Unfortunately, I can't show you this use case, but if you are at NAB next week in Las Vegas, you'll be able to see it when we announce our PR, I'll say, relationship with the show Portlandia. Portlandia uses our NAS for exactly what I just talked about, sharing scripts, sharing dailies, sharing raw footage, B-roll that they're taking, graphics, all with their New York team, their LA team, and then their Portland-based team over Seagate NAS products. So it is being used in the ways that I just described to you today by professionals out there, and it's a fantastic product, I'm sure, for all of you. So I thank you all so very much for coming today. Please let me know if you have any questions. Shoot me questions right now. I'll gladly answer them. If not, you can feel free to email me or Brad, and I can let me get my email address up on the screen for you here.
I'll send out an email to everybody, too, with a link. Once we get this uploaded to our YouTube channel, probably later today or tomorrow, then I'll send out an email just letting you know that you can watch it again if you want, and you'll have my email there.
And there is my email address as well for you. So thank you all so much for coming. I'll hang out for a couple minutes, see if any questions trickle in. But if not, I appreciate you all for coming. And I hope you enjoy your Seagate NASs.
I think you did such a good job that there are no questions left to be asked, I think.
I'm sure that's exactly what's happening. Okay, great. Well, Brad, let me know if any questions come in, and I will talk to you soon, okay?
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Okay, all right. Bye.